Hey everyone, Shawn here. We're at the magnificent Royal Quebec Golf Club at one of our nemesis holes, number 12. We're going to start by talking about elbows, because so many of you have been asking, hey, what should my elbow position be at address? In order for us to address that, pardon the pun, we need to know how the elbows function during the swing dynamically. And once you understand how you need to let your anatomy do its thing, then you'll be able to fall into place at address. Stay with us. This is going to be an amazing show. Okay, so the first thing I want you guys to do is take your club upside down. We're going to do our little sword drill here, right? So imagine the club head is the blade, and I want it to cut through a bamboo shoot. So notice when I'm getting ready to do that, I can start from here and then eventually make my way through that bamboo shoot this way, as long as that's my focus. If I'm going to shave bark into the ground, then it's going to look like this. So notice the position of my elbow versus I'm getting ready to slash through. So some pros look like they're getting ready to do that from the beginning, and some pros get into it during the swing. And you got variances of all that stuff. So there's no exact perfect way to do it. There's just a functional way of doing it. So if we take the lead hand now, we put that on your sword, slashing down versus getting ready to slash through. So notice the position right now. So if I take an axe in my hands, if I'm getting ready to chop some wood, notice the position of my elbows, versus I'm getting ready to chop down a tree. So notice that elbow looks like it's in a different alignment. Whereas in relation to my tool, it's still in a very solid alignment. I'm not going to do that. That's going to put unnecessary tension in there. And I'm not going to do this either. This feels like my whole socket, the head of my humerus here, is discombobulated. So where do I position myself where it feels like I can do the work the best? Because that's what the brain is trying to do, is trying to find the path of least resistance. So if my job was to cut down trees all day, this is where I would start. See my elbow position? This one's looking at the sky. This palm is facing more toward the ground, but you notice how that elbow is kind of pointing toward the target. If we look at things dynamically now, so when you take that sword and you give it a nice slash, notice as I'm coming in how the elbow leads. As soon as the hand passes the elbow, see what happens? I'm releasing my energy. So if I wanted to cut through this bamboo shoot, see the elbow leads the hand leads the blade leads the tip of the blade, and then the tip of the blade releases the anatomy. Notice when it releases, the elbow's pointing in the opposite direction. What do you think happens with the lead hand when that occurs? Put the lead hand right there on top of that trail hand. Notice my elbow position. Then when I come through, this elbow's got to be ready to release under and yield. See that? So when this elbow snaps that way, the other one snaps down and out of the way. See how that works? So if I'm going towards you, down, now towards you, release, through. So if I take my club and my task is to simply cut grass in both directions. Now we're on a tee box, so I'm not going to make any crazy divots here. I'm just going to let it brush the top of the grass. So let it release, let it release. So notice in the backswing, my hands come through first, then the blade, then the heel of the club, then the toe of the club, and then there's a release. I can't stay in this position here. It's going to throw me completely out of position. So I'm letting it release and fold out of the way. Now notice when I'm coming back down, see the position of my elbows. I'm not going to be here, and I'm not going to be there either. This is completely disconnected. So you'll notice that the body is used by the arms for leverage. So notice when I'm coming towards you, that lead arm, when it folds out of the way, notice it's folding up against my rib cage here to allow that trail arm to continue through. And it's leveraging against that rib cage to square the club up. So release, and then on the way back, release. You'll see golfers that are strong enough, like Moo and Sav, where you'll see a lot of extension there with that lead arm, but eventually the club has to catch up with the hands. You can't have a checked swing all day. Imagine in baseball, if I'm waiting for the pitch and there's my baseball swing, that would really hurt. That would be very obstructive. So I'm getting ready to release the bat. So if I'm releasing the bat in your direction, see what happens? So when I'm waiting for the pitch, if I'm going to do it right-handed, waiting for the pitch, notice the position of my elbows. And then when the pitch comes, notice every ball player, that elbow leads, then there's impact, there's where the ball comes off the bat, and then there's a release of energy. There's a release of that anatomy. So we're getting ready to release, release, release. And it's okay to have a little bit of flying elbow in the backswing. Why is that? Well, when you're throwing a ball, right? I'm getting ready to throw. Notice the elbow has to be wide in that backswing so that I have room to lead with it. So if I'm skipping a stone on water, it's very wide, but then it leads, and then it looks like, wow, that elbow's really close to the body. Everybody's looking at the positions instead of the functionality of it. Same thing here with the sword. Gather my sword, that feels like I could give it a good slash. And then when I'm going through, the brain goes to the ground, uses the ground to get my body out of the way, and look at what happens. That elbow leads. It flattens the sword out so I can make my way through that bamboo shoot, okay? So let's play this 12th hole. It's a real tough one. It's a par 5. Moo has a massive advantage here. Wait till you see where he puts his ball. And then we'll take a look on Rapsodo to see where that ball goes. And we got some beautiful tracers that Rapsodo is going to provide for us. And let's see how we do. Just to start off, just you see with the driver, because I am going a little bit up on the ball, so you'll see a little bit more emphasis on those elbows. So I'm getting ready to release in the direction that I want to start the ball. Here I'm playing a fade. I'm going to be going down the left center of the fairway and fading over to the right center of the fairway because I need to see an opening. If I'm hugging the left side of this fairway, it's going to be disaster for the second shot. The second shot, I'm going to have to punch back in the fairway, and then I'm going to have a long third shot into the green. There's been a lot of growth in the last 90 years on this golf course. So here we go. I got my tee. I'm going to flick the tip of the tee in the direction that is left of that intermediate point. There we go. And I'm going to do that with some momentum. Hold it right there. This is classic elbow setup right there, just like I showed you guys. Look at the lead elbow, how it's a little bit more in than the trail elbow. Why? Because Moo's going that way. So notice how that lead hand is more on top and the trail hand's more underneath. You're going to see that with salve as well. Oh, that's gorgeous. So go ahead and do a takeaway there, Moo.
Okay.
So notice in the backswing where his left arm folds and his right, you know, where the wrists hinge. Now come on down in slow motion. Yes, look at that delivery. So notice how that elbow is in a great position to deliver that way, same as this, and then through, then there's that release. Notice how that lead elbow folds out of the way and that trail elbow is able to release over it. Perfect anatomy right there, Moo.
Thanks.
You'd think you were a kinesiologist or something. Oh, my goodness. That is incredible.
That was nice. Good start.
Did you make the corner?
I think so.
Let's go find out what we got here. Now we got 273 with a little crosswind. So let's see how this little low spin 5-wood from Cobra can get us there. Maybe get us to the front of that green. That'd be pretty cool because the pins, I think, is all the way at the back. So we're going to use momentum with ease. Oh, I hit that pretty good. All right, so we'll be in a nice position for a birdie. Moo's gone to get a club. He's 203 to the flag, so he's 70 yards closer than me. How cool is that? So pins at the back, he's got lots of room. He doesn't want to be over this green, so the max you want is, what club do you have?
I have mine 8-iron, so.
We do have a little bit, like the breeze is freshened up. It's in the face. It's
yeah,
still in the face.
Still in the face, yeah.
So you don't want that sucker to balloon too much.
Right.
So what's your distance on the 7-iron?
7-iron is 215 to 210.
I would go 7-iron.
7-iron, okay.
Absolutely. So a nice smooth 7.
Yeah, smooth, yeah, that's correct.
All right. Never put yourself in a position of strain. Nice. Looks great. Oh, looks really good. What a shot. Oh, I told you.
Yeah.
The wind ate that up.
Yeah, it did. So it had 209 carry, 221 total, assuming that it's warm conditions.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
See, so this Rapsoda is actually really good.
Yeah.
So the wind did gobble that up a little bit. It's right at the front of the green, but way better front of the green than back of the green, short-sided.
For sure. Yeah.
But 8-iron was definitely not enough club, right?
No, it would not have been.
Little bit of wisdom. All right, let's go check it out and we'll see if we can get up and down for birdie now. All right. So here's my second shot with the 5-wood. And there's Moo just in the rough between the fringe and the bunker. And there's our flagstick. So we got lots of room to get up and down here. When we're setting up, let's say I'm doing a full iron shot. And many of you have asked, what's this with that, forward shaft lean? So I'm getting into a position here where, let's say if I'm going to hit a draw, I'm getting ready to cut through that dandelion stem in that direction, and it feels like when I do, my grip club relationship will allow that to release and stay straight with a nice little draw. So notice how my hands are a little forward right now. I'm not even aware of where I'm placing it because I'm just simply aware of my task of cutting through that stem. So if I tried to do this, then it feels like I'm going to have a hard time to perform my task. Whereas here, it feels like I'm behind my tree. See that? So if I'm behind the tree with an axe, obviously I'm going to have a forward shaft lean with the axe. So you can see how that works. And I feel very balanced. I'm not overly on one side or the other. I feel like there's just a little bit more weight on that lead side so that it feels like the low point's there. And I'm already in my follow through getting ready to give myself a little bit of momentum in the backswing. Okay? So for this particular shot here, I'm playing the ball further back, keeping the face just a hair more open so I get really nice contact along the ground. So you see how I'm staying nice and low to the ground in both directions. And that's going to give me beautiful contact with the ball. So if the sole of the club stays along the ground, I'm going to have spot on contact. And I'm not trying to lift. I'm not trying to do anything except for cutting through the stem along the surface of the ground with the weight of my arms and clubs. So notice my elbows? They're just falling into place. I'm not going to do that to separate my arms from my, from my body. I'm not going to do that to put unnecessary strain in the arms. I feel like my arm club unit's hanging from the shoulders right there, and I can just stay along the ground. So here we go. Get an intermediate point right there. Going to do a little Goldilocks. That won't make it. That's too far. And that feels like I want to land it right on that, just over the hump there on that the end of the first third, and then let it roll up. Here we go. Feel the weight of my arms and club. I see my dandelion stem to cut, and I'm staying low along the ground with momentum that way. Oh, it just came off a little bit more to the right than what I wanted, but I have a nice uphill 10-footer for that birdie. So I sent Moo back to the cart. I mean, we got it all the way over there. This is what the tendency with cart golf is. You'll tend to play the club that's in your hands, and then with a 60 degree is going to end up way too short. I use a 54 degree from where I was, and I ended up like a good 10 feet short. So with a pitching wedge, we'll land in the first third, and that ball will have a little bit more scoot on it. We're just staying along the ground. Got that intermediate point?
Yeah.
Good. That's it. Stay low along the ground. Did you see where the club wanted to cut grass?
Yeah, right here.
So that means the ball should be a hair further back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right. There it is. Oh, baby, so much better.
Yeah.
All right, so you see, because I'm going uphill, I want to use the back of that hole as a visual to get into the hole. So definitely remove the flag when going uphill. If you want to trickle it into the hole and have it die in the hole, you're welcome to keep the flag in because it relates a lot more to that visual. So I got a spot right there. Everything's in balance. Everything is double checked. See that ball jump into the hole. Let momentum put it in the hole. Oh! It's a ho-hum par. Get in. Oh,
There we go.
what a putt.
Thank you.
There we go. Hey, man. Thanks a lot. That was fun.
Yeah, me too.
Appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Stay with us, and for any more information, go to our Wisdom in Golf Premium channel. You'll see Moo, Sav, and I working it out. So for the elbows, you want to check out all our release videos. and then that'll really get you going. You'll really understand what's going on, and we hope this helps you out. All the best.